Surely, each of us has searched for happiness in life, but do you know that happiness is not something that can come from the outside? It's a decision that you need to create yourself. On the journey to finding the meaning of life, we will encounter many challenges and obstacles. However, it is during these moments, when we face difficulties, that we find valuable lessons and get closer to true happiness. In this video, let's explore how you can choose happiness right now. 1. You are not that important. Let's be real for a moment, you're not the center of the universe. I know it sounds harsh, but hear me out. The truth is, most people are so wrapped up in their own lives, their own worries, that they barely notice the little things you stress over. Think about it, how often do you catch yourself overthinking something small, like a typo in an email or a misstep in a conversation? Now ask yourself, how many times have you noticed someone else doing the same? Probably not as much as you think, right? This realization can actually be incredibly freeing. When you let go of the idea that everyone is watching your every move, you start to live more freely. Imagine walking into a room and feeling like everyone is judging you. That weight? It's imaginary. Most people are thinking about themselves, not you. When you embrace this, you can start to relax and just be yourself. You stop being afraid to make mistakes, take risks, and go after what you really want, because guess what? No one's as focused on you as you think they are. Here's another way to look at it. Have you ever tripped in public or had a bad moment in front of a crowd? It feels like the world is watching, but the truth is, the person who might have witnessed it probably forgot about it within minutes. It's easy to get trapped in the idea that everyone is scrutinizing your every move, but once you realize that people are living their own lives, you can stop worrying about their opinions. And here's the kicker, when you stop trying to be everything to everyone, you'll actually find more meaningful connections. You'll make room for the relationships that matter. Instead of bending yourself into someone else's idea of who you should be, you start to attract people who value you for who you really are. It's like a weight being lifted off your shoulders. So, let go of the need to be the center of attention. Live your life on your own terms, and embrace the freedom that comes with not needing to impress anyone. When you do, you'll find a deeper sense of peace and purpose. The world isn't waiting for you to be perfect, it's waiting for you to be real. 2. Life isn't always fair. Let's face it, life isn't fair. It's one of those uncomfortable truths we don't like to admit, but the sooner we accept it, the easier it gets to move forward. Think about all those times when you've given your best, whether it was staying late at work, helping someone in need, or doing everything right, and yet, it still didn't turn out the way you hoped. A promotion went to someone less qualified, or maybe a dream you worked hard for slipped away. It stings, doesn't it? But here's the thing, life isn't concerned with fairness. It doesn't follow a nice, neat set of rules where good things happen to good people and hard work always gets its reward. We've all heard the stories, about the good guy who still gets hurt, or the person who works their fingers to the bone without recognition. It's frustrating. But here's the reality, fairness isn't life's currency. What really matters is how you respond. The key to surviving the unfairness of life is adaptability. It's not about waiting for life to hand you what you deserve, it's about rolling with the punches and adjusting your strategy when things don't go according to plan. Think of life as a game of chess. Sometimes the pieces are stacked against you, and you feel like the odds are impossible to overcome. But the best players don't sit there complaining, they make the next move, no matter how small, and keep pushing forward. You've probably heard the saying, it's not about how hard you hit, but how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. This is exactly what life demands from you. When things go wrong, don't waste energy on resentment. Use those setbacks as fuel for growth. Learn from the challenges, adjust your approach, and keep moving forward. Life won't always give you a fair hand, but it can still be beautiful if you choose to make the most of it. So, next time life throws an unfair curveball your way, remember, you can't control everything, but you can control how you respond. Embrace the challenge, adapt, and keep growing. That's where the real power lies. 3. Not everyone will like you. Here's a hard pill to swallow: not everyone is going to like you. And you know what? That's okay. We all have this instinct to want to be liked, to fit in, to be accepted. We spend time trying to please others, doing things we think will make them happy, all in the hopes of being enough. But here's the truth: trying to win everyone over is not only exhausting, it's also a losing battle. Think about the people you admire. Are they trying to please everyone? No. They are unapologetically themselves. And that's the key to finding the right people who will truly value you for who you are. You don't need to be a version of yourself that fits someone else's mold just to get their approval. When you do that, you dilute your authenticity and lose sight of what makes you unique. We all have a different idea of what makes someone likable, and the truth is, not everyone will see things the same way. Imagine trying to please everyone around you. In the end, you're left scattered, confused, and disconnected from the person you truly are. But when you focus on cultivating real relationships with people who appreciate you for exactly who you are, life becomes so much richer. The time you used to waste trying to impress people who don't matter can now be spent connecting with those who really do. I know it's hard, but here's the reality: if someone doesn't appreciate you, that's on them, not you. You don't need to twist yourself into knots to gain someone's approval. Instead, let go of the need for validation and focus on finding the people who get you, the ones who accept your quirks, your flaws, and your strengths. You'll find that when you stop trying to please everyone, you free yourself to truly be who you are. And that's when the best relationships, those based on authenticity, start to form. So, embrace the freedom of being yourself and let go of the people who don't appreciate you. The right ones are out there waiting for the real you. 4. Change is inevitable. Change is coming, whether you're ready for it or not. It's one of those constants in life that we can't avoid. The seasons change, people grow, and circumstances shift. Life never stays still. And while we may love the comfort of the familiar, the truth is that resisting change only makes it harder to move forward. It's like trying to hold back a tidal wave with your bare hands: exhausting, right? So why fight it? Instead of resisting, try embracing change. I know, that sounds easier said than done, but trust me, it's where the magic happens. Change pushes you out of your comfort zone, forces you to adapt, and helps you grow in ways you never imagined. Take a look at the butterfly. It has to struggle to break free from its cocoon, and without that struggle, it wouldn't develop the wings to fly. Life works in much the same way. The challenges that come with change are not obstacles to fear, but stepping stones to your personal transformation. Think about a time in your life when something unexpected happened, maybe a job change, a move to a new city, or a shift in your relationships. At first, it probably felt like a setback, right? But looking back, you can probably see how that moment of change pushed you to grow, learn, and become stronger. It wasn't easy, but it was necessary for the person you've become. The more you resist change, the more it holds you back. But when you lean into it, when you accept that change is a part of life, you open yourself up to new opportunities. You start to see that change is not something to fear, but something to embrace. It's how we evolve, how we grow stronger, and how we ultimately find the version of ourselves we're meant to be. So next time change knocks on your door, don't push it away. Open the door wide and let it in. Let it stretch you, challenge you, and shape you into something even better. Because in the end, you're not meant to stay the same, you're meant to evolve. 5. Happiness is a choice. Happiness isn't something that just happens to you, it's a choice you make, every single day. I know, it sounds almost too simple, right? But it's true. Happiness isn't a gift or some random stroke of luck that magically lands in your lap. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment or the stars to align. It's about how you choose to respond to life, especially when things aren't going the way you want them to. Life is messy. It's filled with ups and downs, imperfections, and challenges. But here's the secret: those imperfections are not obstacles, they're opportunities. Every time something goes wrong, every setback or struggle, you have the power to choose how to see it. You can either get bogged down by frustration, or you can find the lesson in it, the growth that comes from pushing through it. That choice, that shift in perspective, is what makes the difference between living a life of joy or a life of frustration. Think of it like this: imagine two people caught in a downpour. One is furious, cursing the rain and feeling miserable about the inconvenience. The other lifts their face to the sky, smiling, and enjoying the moment for what it is. Same rain, different mindset. The way you choose to view your circumstances is what shapes your experience of life. Now, I get it, it's not always easy to choose happiness. There are days when everything seems to go wrong, and it feels like the weight of the world is on your shoulders. But like any habit, happiness takes practice. The more you make the choice to focus on the positives, to find joy even in tough times, the more it becomes second nature. Over time, you start to see the beauty in life's imperfections, and you begin to realize that happiness doesn't come from a perfect life, it comes from the way you decide to live it. So, the next time you're faced with a challenge or an obstacle, remember, happiness is not about the circumstances, it's about the mindset. Choose to find the joy, even in the struggle. It's a habit worth developing, and before you know it, it will change the way you see the world. 6. Pain is part of growth. Pain is a part of life, whether we like it or not. It's easy to look at hardship as something to avoid, something that only brings discomfort and frustration. But the truth is, pain is one of the most powerful catalysts for growth. We all go through struggles, big and small, and in those moments, it often feels like life is pushing us to our limits. But here's the twist: it's in these difficult moments that we discover just how strong we really are. Think about a time in your life when you faced something tough, maybe a breakup, a job loss, or a personal failure. At the time, it probably felt like the world was crashing down around you. But looking back, I bet you can see how that hardship pushed you to grow. Maybe you learned to be more resilient, more patient, or even more compassionate. Pain, though uncomfortable, forces us to confront who we are and what we're capable of, revealing strengths we didn't even know we had. Take a moment to think about the most transformative experiences in your life. I can almost guarantee that they involved some form of pain or discomfort. It's through those challenging times that we stretch beyond our comfort zones and evolve. Like the process of forging steel, intense heat, pressure, and even breaking are necessary to create something strong and enduring. Our struggles, though tough, shape us into more capable versions of ourselves. And here's the best part: once you accept that pain is part of the process, it becomes easier to face challenges head-on. Instead of seeing hardship as something to be avoided, you begin to see it as an opportunity for growth. When you embrace pain as part of your personal evolution, you stop fearing it and start using it to your advantage. So, the next time life throws a curveball your way, remember, pain isn't a punishment, it's a lesson. It's the thing that pushes you to become more than you thought you could be. Embrace it, learn from it, and watch yourself evolve into a stronger, wiser person. 7. You can't control everything. Here's a tough truth we all have to face: you can't control everything. No matter how hard you try, there will always be things beyond your reach, other people's actions, the outcome of certain events, or even the circumstances that life throws at you. And the more you try to control the uncontrollable, the more frustrated and overwhelmed you'll become. It's like trying to grip sand in your hands: the harder you squeeze, the more it slips through your fingers. But here's the good news: the key to peace isn't about controlling everything around you, it's about letting go of what you can't control and focusing on what you can. Think about it like this: you can't control the weather, but you can choose how you dress for it. You can't control how others behave, but you can control your reactions. The more you focus on what you can influence, your thoughts, your actions, your attitude, the more empowered you'll feel. Imagine trying to control every detail of a road trip. You drive yourself crazy obsessing over every stop, every turn, and every obstacle on the road. But when you let go and accept that there will be bumps along the way, the journey becomes more enjoyable. You might even discover some new places you wouldn't have expected. The same goes for life. You can't control the twists and turns, but you can control how you navigate them. When you focus on the things within your power, your mindset, your decisions, your growth, you create a sense of peace that no external circumstances can shake. Letting go of the need to control everything frees up your energy for the things that truly matter, and that's where fulfillment lies. So, take a deep breath and let go of the things you can't control. Life becomes so much lighter and more fulfilling when you focus on what you can influence and allow the rest to unfold naturally. 8. Failure is necessary for success. Failure isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. I know that might sound counterintuitive, especially when we've been conditioned to see failure as a setback, a sign that we're not good enough. But the truth is, failure is one of the most important stepping stones on the road to success. It's not the end of the road, but a vital part of the journey. Think about the most successful people you know or admire. Do you think they got to where they are without a few bumps along the way? Of course not. Every failure they've encountered has been a lesson, a learning opportunity that pushed them to grow. Failure doesn't make you weak, it makes you stronger. It teaches you resilience, perseverance, and adaptability, all of which are essential for success. Take a moment to think back to a time when you failed at something. Maybe it was a project that didn't go as planned, or a goal you couldn't reach. At the time, it probably felt like a huge disappointment. But looking back, you likely learned something valuable from that experience, something that made you better prepared for your next challenge. That's the power of failure. It teaches you what works, what doesn't, and how you can improve next time. In fact, failure is often the best teacher we have. It forces us to reflect, to reevaluate, and to push ourselves beyond what we thought were our limits. Without failure, there would be no growth, no innovation, and no progress. It's the trials and errors that shape us into the person we need to be to achieve success. So, the next time you face failure, don't see it as something to avoid. Instead, see it as a sign that you're on the right path. Every failure is a lesson, every setback a chance to grow. And remember, success isn't about never failing. It's about getting back up, learning from the experience, and moving forward stronger than before. 9. The present moment is all that matters. We often get so caught up in the past or worry so much about the future that we forget the most important thing, the present moment. Think about it, how many times have you caught yourself reliving a mistake you made last year, or stressing over what might happen tomorrow? In doing so, we miss out on the peace and clarity that comes from simply being in the now. The present is the only time we truly have. The past is gone, and the future is uncertain. Yet, so many of us spend our days either regretting what we did or fearing what might happen next. But what if we focused on right here, right now? The beauty of the present moment is that it's the only time we can actually do something about. It's where life is happening, where real change can occur. Imagine you're sitting with a friend, enjoying a cup of coffee. If your mind is constantly drifting to the past or the future, you're not truly present with them. You might miss out on the small, beautiful moments, the laughter, the connection, the joy of simply being together. When we live in the present, we start to notice the little things that make life beautiful. It's in these moments that we find clarity, peace, and happiness. It's not always easy to let go of the past or stop worrying about the future, but practicing mindfulness can help. Start small, take a deep breath and focus on where you are right now. What can you see, hear, and feel in this moment? The more you focus on the present, the easier it becomes to find joy in it. You'll begin to realize that the present is where all the magic happens. So, let go of the weight of yesterday and the anxiety about tomorrow. Live in the now, because it's the only time you really have. In doing so, you'll find a deeper sense of peace and happiness that nothing from the past or future can take away. 10. You are responsible for your own happiness. Here's a truth that can be a little tough to swallow: no one else is responsible for your happiness. It's not your partner's job, your friend's job, or even your job to make you feel fulfilled. Ultimately, it's up to you. You have the power to shape your own happiness by how you think, how you react, and the choices you make every single day. When we rely on others for our happiness, we give away our power. We end up placing our joy in someone else's hands, hoping they'll make us feel good about ourselves or our lives. But the reality is, happiness starts from within. It comes from the way you view the world, the way you treat yourself, and the steps you take to create a life that aligns with your values and desires. Think about it this way: cultivating a positive mindset is one of the most important tools for your happiness. It's about training your mind to focus on the good, even in the midst of challenges. It doesn't mean ignoring the struggles, it means choosing to see them as opportunities for growth rather than as obstacles that define you. Setting healthy boundaries is another key part of taking ownership of your happiness. It's about saying no to things that drain you, and yes to things that uplift you. When you respect your own needs and make space for what truly brings you joy, you're actively choosing happiness over frustration or resentment. And let's not forget pursuing what truly brings you joy. What lights you up? What makes you feel alive? When you take the time to prioritize these things, whether it's a passion, a hobby, or a goal, you're creating a life that fuels your happiness. No one else can give that to you, because only you know what truly fills you with joy. So, remember, you are the creator of your own happiness. It's not something that's handed to you, but something you cultivate with every choice you make. Take ownership of it, and watch how it empowers you to live a more fulfilling, joyful life. So, happiness is not something to wait for or depend on others for, it is the choice of each person. Start with small changes in your mindset and the way you perceive life, and never forget that you are the one holding the key to your own happiness. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on future videos. Start your journey to finding happiness today, and share those wonderful moments with us.